I'm watercolor painting hair on cloth. We started this yesterday. I thought it was absolutely horrible. Today it looks okay. Anyway, so let's jump right in. Uh, I was going to try to do more details on the cloth. I don't know what all those colors on the cloth are. Let me try to hook up with a some kind of good gray. Take this new palette we got here. This is a Primatech kind of violet, so I don't know. I start with that, mix it with this brown. This is a similar. There looks like a good warm gray. Why don't we start with a warm gray and let's see about doing this swooping thing that's right here. One thing I learned with the other one is that we need to have some authoritative colors in there. I'm leaving these little white streaks in there because there's these little highlights, and so now I'm going to try to sort of blend this into nothing, and that's pretty nicely blended into nothing. Let's try to go lean into a bit more more Payne's gray in that. Come down here, and why don't we see about this? We see the gray here. There's a little highlight where it's you know the light's bouncing off the table, and okay, so that's good. That's nice. And here there is the try to start talking about what that thing looks like, and I'm just gonna let's see. We do not especially want to have hard edges this close to the edge of the paper. So, well, I shouldn't say hard edge, I should say contrast this close to the edge of the paper, but having said that, here we are making contrast that close to the edge of the paper. All right, I'm going to come up here. Okay, that looks good. Just sort of blend this whole thing now. I'm going to leave this little white speck, see that little white speck there, leaving that there to break up the sorry, this giant flat tone, we're leaving this little white thing in there to break it up and say more than just a big giant flat tone. And I just want to make this a harder line now. I mean, okay, it looks not bad, I guess. Now we're going to take just another gray, and hopefully this is a faint gray. And let's come down like here. I do not like a continuous line anywhere in the watercolor. Having said that, we just made a continuous line. We're just going to be trying to mimic the edge of the cloth, and This is not at all what the edge of the cloth looks like, but it is what the edge of a cloth normally might look like. And so we are, going to uh, stimulate the memory of the observer who has, someone who has seen this type of, uh, texture in a cloth, in dishcloth, something like that. And no, this one, these are warmer than that. I added a little bit of red in there, so now it's warmer. That one's coming closer, so the warm color should look like it's in front of that color. Hey, Ditchell guy, thank you very much for the compliment. And you Gid, thank you very much for the greeting. Wow, 2 thumbs up, Bob. That's great. Thanks so much. All right, so what else is happening here? We're trying to work on the cloth a little bit. When I first painted this yesterday, I thought, wow, that is like the worst thing in the world. But now it's looking all right, I guess. So now that we've done this, I think we should do the same thing on that area. And first, let's go with got the red-ish, whatever that red is. I think it's this red. I'm gonna mix that with some blue, try to get a warm gray. And that's looks kind of like on the cool side of a warm gray. That's more on the warm side. See what this color is. I don't know what that is. There's some kind of yellow brown. This is one called neutral tint. I don't like that at all, but let's see about add some this kind of do we like that warm gray? Not really. It's definitely warm. Okay, that's kind of maybe that's good. I don't know. Let's just try it right here, see what it does for us. Is it going to give us depth? And also right here we wanted to do an excruciatingly detailed area right there. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go same color but a lot lighter. And we're going to try to do these. Well, actually, I should start with a more pronounced color right here. And we're going to try to get these little lines in like we have on this side. And we got a big drop of water right there. Okay, now I want to switch to a cool gray. So I got the same color, mixing blue in. And that looks like it might be a bit too cool. So I'm gonna see about this. Okay, that's better. So like right there, there's this little shadow back there. So here we're just starting the cool gray. Now I want to go lighter, same color. It's kind of green. I don't really like it, but we're just going to keep going. And I want to, it goes all the way up there. We go lighter still. I'm going to blot this as just to make it more subtle. Okay, and now let's have it just sort of and this is a little too intense right there. All right, hopefully this one here also looks too dark. Okay, and while we're at it, let's make that one lighter. I think all these look kind of, that might be okay. I don't know. Not really. So we can see there's a shadow right here shaped like a triangle. That's exaggerated right here. Not really sure why that's exaggerated. Now I want to go with a very faint blue. Let's see what we can get for a faint blue. It's a little bit green. That's a little red. I really don't like that color, but what we're trying to do is try to go up here. Now let's go. That's not good. Does it look like cloth? I have no idea. Hey, King Dom, thanks for the greeting. Appreciate it. 3 thumbs up. Thanks so much. Much appreciated. Okay, this we gotta go darker, but I don't really have anything darker right this second. As far as ideas. And I'm going to take the smaller brush here and attempt to redefine this area down here. How are we going to do that? Well, let's see. I guess we're going to take this color. I'm pretty sure it's called Lunar Blue. I'm not really sort of lost track of what's what on that palette. So let's just go here. Let's try to get this smoother. And let's see about this. I want to get a softer edge here. Oh, what this little thing is right there, but we don't like it. Try to get a smoother. And here is like a we are definitely achieving detail. I don't know if it's good, but it's definitely detailed. I'm trying to connect this the shadow that's right here. There's a shadow with highlight right there. So right here, looking at this, there's like a triangle underneath the stem of shadow, and in the center of the triangle, there's a highlight. So I was trying to capture that right here. So let's, why are we going to do that? I don't know. For doing special stuff here. Okay. Anyway, triangle of shadow with a highlight in the middle. So this is going to be the outside of the triangle. And I want to connect with this brown. I don't know why that's brown, but there it is. And right here, there's actually a little highlight right there, and then there's the shadow of the stem. So I'm just going to take some red and mix it with our gray and do the shadow of the stem. And so shadow of the stems here. Let's just go right there. There's the shadow of the stem. And we did mess up the stem. It actually goes, more like here, but that is a matter of, well, too bad this is watercolor. We gotta, allow the watercolor to, perform as it wishes. Okay, here, that looks good. That looks good. I think that's good. Now that's a puddle of water, which is, generally not the greatest, but, I like the position. I just assume that dries like that as try to mess around with it. If we wanted to, we could take a dry brush and touch this and pick some of the water, but, you can also just let the whole puddle of water dry, which is what I'd prefer to do. Here, we have this highlight here, great, and then we were talking about this triangle. It has a highlight inside the triangle. So here I'm just pulling out this paint to say, hello, I am the highlight in shadow between the pear stem and the cloth. So that looks good. And actually it goes more like this. Let's see about this. Let's see if we can just try to soften the transition between this brown that's right there and then this should come out to more of a point, and we're getting there. And then this, we got to say, hello, we are at the towel. So I hate to be putting a dark right now in that area, but on the other hand, it's going to help us because we said we are going to get excruciating definition on the towel in this area. So here we go. Critical moment here. That looks good. And so actually this part right here goes like that. It's a fold. So I'm going to see if I can capture that fold right here. I guess we have to take it down here. It's a lot of detail for this area of the painting, but we are very close to the subject pair. So, if we're gonna have excruciating detail anywhere, it might as well be here. I mean, it's compared to like right here or something. Wow, 8 people here and 4 thumbs up. Thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. And we're trying to do this pair from life. And right now I'm trying to get depth and circumstance in this area of the towel. We just identified a shadow with a highlight in shadow that's like right here. And so we tried to execute that. And now we are working on this area right here. And You know, I wouldn't say it's going bad, not especially great, but you know, it doesn't look too bad either. So another thing happening here is that there's a highlight right there on the bottom edge of the pear, which is somehow missing in the painting, where I really see like we have this white of the paper is the highlight, but it seems to have gotten lost in this area. So as soon as that dries, we're going to try to pull out a highlight right there because that's a critical area for a highlight. And what else here? I think right here we should get some activity because right here there's kind of like this little swoop and it's missing here, and if we're trying to get, oh, you know, another thing here is this little uh, brown right here is kind of a, that's from yesterday, so I don't know if it's going to easily come off, but the little bump right there, I'm just trying to rub that with water. And you know, luckily we're on cotton paper. Last time we did a watercolor, we inadvertently used Amazon Basics wood pulp paper, and boy, did we pay the heavy price for that, because you know, anything like this we tried to do, it just did not work, period. So anyway, let's see if this comes off. All right, yes, our little brown bump came off. While we're at it, we can just soften this. This is where we want to put a highlight. So let's see if we could just put it right now. So I'm just bringing this a damp brush, not too much paint on the brush. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're getting into highlight town now, aren't we? Okay, let's see about right here. Now we got just clear water going on there. Just rubbing it a little bit. Okay, we have achieved a highlight. I don't like this bump that's right there. Better if we had, you know, the, like what we have here is the original paper. That's the original paper. This little square original paper. That's ideal if we could have the original paper create these highlights. Thank you for 8 people who stopped by to visit real-time watercolor painting, pear on cloth. So I want to take a short break from this, which is actually one of my favorite parts of the composition, are these wrinkles in the towel. We have not depicted them very nicely, but we have depicted them in a, you know, some kind of random way. Here, if you were here a few minutes ago and this was a puddle, it is pretty much dry now, and so that's the way a puddle might look when it's dry. So much to work on in this thing, but anyway, I want to work on this. I come to find the pear is actually in front of the cloth, so I think what we want to do is I think let's see if we can just go right here. I'm just painting water right there because you know, when I did the cloth I wasn't really paying attention, and so I'm gonna see if we can just say, excuse me cloth, I am the pear, I am in front of you. So you know, this little green line that's in there is making it look like the cloth is, you know, on top of the pear. So here, okay, that's a little better. That would be, this is inviting some bold strokes. I don't know if we're into the bold strokes right now. Let's find out what's the worst that could happen. So anyway, here's some, this is a cadmium yellow, and then we want to lean into green a little bit. This one here is called Hansa yellow. And then if we want to lean into green, we should grab some blue. And there's some blue. It's actually ultramarine, but it was this blue right here is awfully watered down. 6 thumbs up. Fantastic. Wow, that's so great. Thanks so much. Okay, anyway, now we got more blue. And that looks like a good match to the, the pear color. So let's use this for our bold stroke. Are you ready? Because here we want to say, hello, the pear is in front of the cloth. So that's cool. And let's try to establish an edge up here. Now, what we just did, having a more or less a single color go from here to there, is not exactly, something I would attempt to do or plan on, because I think that's a pretty big, I'm going to try to dilute this edge, and that looks much better. Having the same tone just like that all over the top, is just not a desirable size area to have. Now I'm going to try to make this a smoother line. I just got water, and I'm just going to try to smooth out this line here. Looks a lot smoother now. And I'm going to take a similar color. I don't want to take the same color. Here's a similar color. I want to just make a lump right here that we don't really have depicted. And that, try to hit into that shadow. That looks stupid, but anyway, maybe we can still fix it. I'm going to see about, go right here. And that looks stupid also, but wait. I'm going to see about taking out some of this paint. This paint's from yesterday. It might be pretty dry. It might not really want to go, but thankfully we are on cotton paper, so we should be able to maybe get it to disappear. Let's see. Oh yes, okay. Good, it's kind of leaving us now. I would like blot it up with the paper towel, but I don't want to blot up a lot of stuff. So paper towel is good if you don't really care of, what you're blotting up. For example, well, I guess I'll see now. Okay, cool. Here's an example of where you might not care what you're blotting up. So here's some fresh water. I'm just going to paint this right here where it is kind of its own little highlight, and leave that there a second. And the idea here is you just saw how hard the edges are there, so we are trying to keep the same little rectangle of highlight, but soften the edges. And a good thing to do with a towel, because you don't really, say, unlike here where we didn't want to disturb this paint, here there's no paint really in the area to disturb. So now you see that it's kind of a fuzz right there, and it looks more luminescent. Having this same green here is horrible, but we got to add different greens as we go. Yes, I got a lot of apples. If you look at my video, and I think if you search apple somehow, you'll see there's about 300 apple paintings in my channel. And Red Apple, thank you for the comment. You are a high-ranking visitor, I see. 6 thumbs up. Wow, look at that. How do they do it? Nice going. I really appreciate it, folks. My record on thumbs up was 9, if I remember right. And that was recently, I don't know if it was this painting or the one just before that we achieved the 9. So anyway, moving right along. So we have it managed to put the pear in front of the cloth there. We attempted to refine this area. We got our cute little triangle shadow with a highlight in the middle of the shadow. Down there, it's actually a reflection in shadow. We we have messed up the stem. The stem doesn't really look like that. Here, I'm just going to soften that, shadow line on the stem, and I'll just leave this puddle there, and it should just sort of loosen up that hard line we had on the stem. And you get a hard line in there, it starts looking like a comic book, So nothing wrong with comic books. I love comic books, but another thing I'd like to try to do is this shadow here, like that one down there. I mean, this shadow actually continues right here. It continues up to around here. And that is not represented in my depiction here, so we should give that some representation. Let's see about right now. Why wait? Okay, so it really connects with that. Let's just see right here. Let's just go up. And it really is like up here too, but this is our main thing we're looking at now. I want to soften this edge so it just kind of fades. And that is a good question if we want to keep this hard line right there. It's not really bothering me, so I guess we keep it in there. I'm going to try to blend this whole thing up like this. And okay, that's a little bit blended. This hard line here, I think we're keeping it because, where's my scratch paper? Well, oh. Speaking of this area with no paint, it is a shape, which the shape of the white is like this, which, to me is a big arrow that says, hey, look, and the arrow points to, the whole pear is sitting right here. So having if we wanted to or could, and we had arrows like this all over the painting that point to the pear, that would be good because, it would be silly, but, if you don't notice the arrow, but there are somehow these, magically present arrows pointing in from all directions, then that would help to keep the eye in the interior of the painting. If the arrows were going out of the painting like that, then someone would see an arrow and say, oh, where's that arrow go, or where's this arrow go? So anyway, that is the graphic shape arrow in positive or negative space. In this area, I would call that negative space since it's just the paper. And to me, this, if your eye is here, I think your eye is going to go this way. And unfortunately, once you get to the pear at this stage of the painting, we're looking pretty, in process, I suppose. Hey, Rihanna, thank you very much for the compliment. Much appreciated. And 7 thumbs up. How fabulous is that? Thanks so much, everybody. That's really great. 7 thumbs up. This little dot right here, I just noticed, and that's not a good place for a dot. very close to the edge. And speaking of arrows, there's could be an arrow paint going up that way. I'm gonna just put some water on that, and we're just gonna get rid of that here. Now we have this little fuzz highlight that's better. You know, having a dot right there, high contrast. I mean, down here, maybe that's okay because, you know, we're in the mix of the fabric. And like what all is happening right here, we sort of try to represent there, but we're a little late to the party, obviously. I mean, what's right here is actually right here, but whatever. Anyway, we are making progress. 7 thumbs up. Thanks so much, everybody. So the apple's looking horrible. Let's try to see if we can fix up the apple. I think one good thing to do would be go where the highlights are. Let's see if we can just remove some of that paint there. So, you know, there's a highlight here, a medium highlight there. That's the most intense highlight. We already got that. But plus we got these murky colors here, which is not really, but you know, if we call this an underpainting, then no problem. Murky colors. We made an underpainting of murky colors. I'm just trying to build form by taking out a highlight, you know. Whatever murky stuff we got on the side, at least if we got that highlight in the middle, we're getting, you know, the sense of a 3D object. And then right here, I think would be a good place for a really important one, because this is a forward area of the pear. This one, I'm just gonna keep going here. That was one thing that happened when I was painting this underpainting yesterday, is that it was not going good, and I was kept putting layers on, and that's how we got this whole bunch of murky colors on here. So we're trying to go in the opposite direction. Okay. All right, now we got a luminescent quality. I mean, that's very nice, even if that's rectangle shaped. I think it's it looking pretty nice. We're gonna, you know, redefine this edge with a dark, but I don't really want to do it at this stage of the painting. This has definitely got to be a harder shadow right here, but you know, better to do that closer to the end. And I think it's time to, wow, I got a whole bunch of smile faces. Thanks so much for that, Rihanna. Very much appreciate. Yeah, I didn't mess up. It's just entertaining. All right. Okay, well, thanks a lot. I got to go to work now. We'll pick this up again tomorrow. I think, you know, we're at a decent looking place here where, you know, you want to leave a painting for a break at a time where it's engaging. So you want to jump back in, you know, again. And so I super appreciate everyone who came to visit. And I'm going to run to work. See you again next time.